Before I do something, I'll let it in my mind. But I'm like Randy, sometimes I get on a mission.
I'll get back to you in a minute, guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll get back to you. Just a minute. I got to get this done because I really enjoy this.
That's part of being man. Y'all just,
I think,
when
well,
y'all
I hope
shot,
so. I hope so.
I got so tickled a week or two ago. We went in the store, tell me that's what he wanted to do, and I went back there and he just second of being that's this typical man. You came, you saw, you conquered, you wanted it out.
Yeah, what we do, Jim, whatever we decide we want something. And then we spend the next 6 months justifying what we need.
He said,
So was sticking out. He could come in. It was working before. It just doesn't do video. And I don't know if maybe when he comes in, if it'll open up the camera, but I can't find a place to open.
What it said, Brad, when I went over there, it said.
It was working. It was
asleep.
broadcasting. It just won't do. It just won't show video, and I can't figure out why. It's very different from what it used to be.
I mean, one of them, you know.
They change it every few months. So
Brian
it's
had
a little
I
aggravating.
don't tell you.
But they,
we went and bought a small truck.
he can come in now, but it just, you may not see him. You'll should be able to hear
A new transmission. 18.
it. So I just,
That's what we did. So, you know,
I'm talking to him. I'll let him.
okay, because I'm going to down here.
So we'll see if when he connects, if it
Okay, thank you.
connects as odd. I mean, I don't think.
Okay, so they can't see me.
good keeping them, right?
Hi, this is Dr. Joe Martindale speaking.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah.
What's weird is it shows.
We better check something.
Well,
Well, I was thinking how different, talking about how different, used to
Our
have
driveway
to be
sometimes looks like
ball games.
a car lot.
Something
Yeah, that's right.
We
Oh,
we actually do.
Yeah, I don't.
You know, right between the Honda and the road truck.
Martha. Pay attention to the teacher.
He called her Martha, but you can't say.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, he calls
It's switch time then.
my dad. Martha.
MD. Martha Diane. So, if we're not careful, we'll get caught up in the spirit of the hunt sometimes, especially men. And then I do have this guilt feeling on it. Well, I did all this, and I should have included probably God in this whole process. And then I asked God, you know, I'm sorry I did that, you know, and what's done is done. And then, you know, you're right.
Has he really convicted you of it?
Sometimes it has. You know.
Okay.
And then verse 16, for everything that belongs to the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride in one's lifestyle, is not from the Father, but is from the world. Boy, the world don't want to hear this, man. This upsets the world when they say, well, this is not from God. This is from our own sinful heart, our own sinful behavior that's creating these lusts, these various lusts, these sinful behaviors. The world doesn't want to hear stuff like that. They want to hear stuff like, oh, the world is a good place, and your behavior, even though it's not of it's not the normal behavior for the population, it's still okay, and we'll accept it. You know what I mean by that is specifically say homosexual behavior. That is, as far as that is abnormal according to the population in general, right? And so, but yet we turned that around and made it acceptable where, well, it doesn't go along with the majority of behavior, but we'll accept it anyway. You see, and so now we're compromising again.
That's where this gay marriage, I think, comes from. You know, our setup is on the democracy. It's got 10 people voting out here, and 9 of them vote for this. but that's when you're impinging on his rights, and you got to do what he does.
Mhm.
Now that
Right.
really burns me.
Well, and it only took what, one woman to take prayer out of school.
Yeah.
One person was offended.
Yeah,
I'm
Um,
like, really? What? How did that happen?
According to John, the world prioritizes what the body desires. Now, I like that. The world prioritizes what the body desires.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. If you desire it, the world is going to supply it. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So, what the eye urges to see, the world's going to provide that for you. Okay? Now, all this still revolves around false prophets, false teachers, because they want to be recognized. They want the glory of it. They want the recognition. They want that sensation that it gives them that they are powerful and significant. And this gives it to them.
I think we've been, I didn't really think about it until this lesson, but always when the word lust was brought up, it always had a sexual connotation to it.
Right.
I don't think that's what he's doing.
It doesn't have to be at all.
No,
It does not have to
or
be.
anything.
The lust of anything.
Anything
No.
The lust
that
of
takes your eyes
Money.
off of
the
Well, I
lust.
think of it in terms of all the people we got in this United States, which is the worst country in the world for dope, I call it. That's, it could be prescription
Right.
medicine, it could be grass, heroin, or whatever. But I read an article here not long ago, or it was on TV One, that this lawman, and I want to say he was something kind of like a assistant commissioner or something, said that 65% of the beating up other people to take their money, or killing them, or robbing a store, or something like that, is caused by wanting dope. They
Okay.
don't have, they can't work. There's nobody to hire because they were not dependable.
drugs.
They'll
right.
steal and all that. And I had an experience with that. I hired a person before it was all over with. He stole a whole trailer of mama's furniture and my tools, every bit of it. Him and 2 or 3 of his cronies.
Because drugs are so powerful. When you're hooked on drugs, you'll do anything to get
Well,
that next drug.
Yeah, and coming back to that situation there, I got a police report on it and everything, and somebody from the prosecutor's office called me and said, we've got the guy that stole your batteries 3 times. Within 2 weeks, he stole a brand new set of batteries out of my truck. I go buy another set, which is 3 batteries, and that's $102 a piece. And he said he admits he stole 1 set of your batteries, but he said all this $5,000 you turned in is stolen, he didn't touch. And I said, well, are you not going to prosecute him for it? Well, he said he didn't do it. We didn't see nobody to see it. I said, I got a man that seen him come out of the house with carrying copper wire. He stripped the house, knocked the plates off there, grabbed the electrical wire and run with it. So he hit something and just tore it all to pieces. We moved over here and there was nobody in the house. And so in my humble opinion, dope is at least 60% of the problems we have in the United States.
It has created a huge problem, no doubt.
And I think it's going to get worse as more and more states make marijuana legal. Because we're going to have a drugged out society.
Well, again, it just falls under lust, the lust of the flesh. That's what that is. And sinful interest.
Also, lust of the money. The state wants all that tax dollar.
Right. The marijuana brings in.
I put down here in my margin that when John says the world prioritizes what the body desires and what the eyes urge to see, that is, they supply it for us. I put down here, this has been on, I think, the news, where it says, Marty helped me out with this. It says the American dream is really not taught the same as it used to be. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to teach the American dream. But I know Pastor Rick has brought this up. Whereas the American dream is to what? Get a good education, get a good paying job, raise a family, retire, and then die. And all of that seems to be the American dream. It's fine and dandy, I suppose, but if God is not included in this scenario, then it's a wasted cause. But my point here is, it appears that society is trying to move away even from that model where you do it yourself, and they want you to depend on our government to make a lot of your decisions for you, to rely on government for services and substance.
Like it's called social.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
social programming, and it's called social experimentation, to where you get society to depend on or lean on the government for basic needs. Now, once they get you there, they are still going to, these false prophets, this is their playground. This is a playground for false prophets, when we can be regulated real closely by a government. And once that happens, boy, corruption is just out of control. And then they will tell the masses how to be and control the masses. And it's just a bad thing.
Well, you can kind of see it when you start home from church. Just look at all the people out in their yard. I was never allowed to work on Sunday.
See, and again, that goes back to my talking about my soul compromising. I remember those days as a kid where you sure don't go fishing and boating and no, and that's what. And we remember here in Saline County, probably everywhere, where the stores were closed. Almost all of them. Blue laws, and that's gone by the wayside. And so is anything.
Here in Saline County, liquor. 20 years ago, you couldn't get 20% of the people to vote for it.
Yeah.
Now they voted it in.
So, anyway.
Well, Fox News says that the American dream doesn't exist anymore. And I agree. I don't think there is such a thing. Not really.
Well, you talk with the educated people that go for education, try to do something with their lives. They come out with $150,000 indebtedness to start with. Right. They will never buy a home. They'll never be able to buy a home. They're paying off that for the rest of their lives to get where they can pay taxes to support those who don't work.
Exactly.
I don't have any problem with helping someone who cannot do, but I have a little trouble with those who are employed by choice.
Oh, yeah.
But you see what the system has done.
Yeah.
If they've made it possible for these young people to take these tremendous amounts of loans to go to school, and yet then they say, okay, now pay it back. Now you have become enslaved to the system.
Right.
And now you depend on the system to continue to take care of you exactly where they want you.
You'll never get ahead.
Exactly where they want you. Now they can influence you to believe and think and direct you into the way that they want you to go.
Well, I think a lot of it's political, going to get you in a situation like you said, to get your vote. If you don't vote for them, you're going to lose this.
Bottom line is that, but still, I believe our society and our government leaders are trying to move us in a direction where, yes, they will be in charge of everything. And I think that's even prophesized. It talks about this at the end times, where they will be in charge of everything.
This dumbing down of education has a lot to do.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Gene. What?
This kind of goes back to lusting for power. I'm just astounded at the leaders, supposed leaders who are elected by the people, and their lust for power, for control of every. I have no desire for them to control your life. None. And these people that are elected and we pay their salaries, I just understand that their desire to control people.
The
I
lust of,
identify
the,
with that.
the lust of power, the lust of power is very powerful.
Yeah, I guess.
And,
I guess.
because why, and I've said this sometimes in some of my classes, why do super wealthy people want to take a high political position when they make 10 times more money in the civilian sector and take a political position?
Yeah.
Why in the world would you do that? The power.
That and they can steal left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
So
would
that's
a,
part of the
and
power.
get by with it.
why would a person spend millions of dollars for a $400,000 a year
Good
job
point.
the last 4
Good
years?
point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Spend millions and billions to get a $500,000 job. It's because of the power and influence that it brings.
look at Obama, his executive order.
Power is
Whatever he wants.
It's like a
I'm just
drug.
gonna do
Power is
that.
like a drug. It is the opiate for people in those positions. So, verse 17, continuing on, says, and the world with its lust is what? Passing away.
See, that's why life is meaningless. We know, if you really think that, all this is going to pass away.
Yeah.
And so life is meaningless. I mean, good.
30 years from now, none of us will be here.
But one,
You know?
but one who does God's will remains forever. Now, but here's the part that the world just, boy, they don't want to look at this part. It says the world with its lust is passing away. No, to them it's not. Live for today. You know, just live for the day. And don't worry about the future. Yeah, don't worry about the future.
Of
Just
course, God also tells us don't worry about the future.
if you're in his, if you're in his will,
Don't
and-
worry about
and everything is,
got you covered.
yeah, and you're not worried about,
Well, that's what Obama brought on with all these gifts to the insurance and cities and when he first got in office up there. Because that was his deal, what they can take care of themselves. And a few sane heads said, look what you're going to load up for our children and grandchildren. Well, they got time enough to work on that. That bull is there, and they're going to have to do something about it sooner or later.
I was telling Randy, for the first time in our American history, our debt exceeds our gross domestic product. It's like 107%, which means everything we bring in is still not enough.
part 2, section 2. It's called Enemies of the Gospel. This is verses 18 and 19. Children, it is the last hour. And as you have heard, Antichrist is coming. Even now, many Antichrists have come. See, that's right there. They're already here. And they've been here the whole time. Ever since Jesus' time, they've been here. We know from this that it is the last hour. They went out from us, but they did not belong to us. For if they had belonged to us, they would have remained with us. However, they went out so that it might be made clear that none of them belongs to us. He's just giving us a warning here. John says, keep an eye out. There's going to be folks out there that's going to challenge the word, and they're going to very subtly compromise it one way or another. That means it's very slow and easy to fall prey to. You know, it's not like a big deal where they would just come out and say, this is wrong, this is absolute, this is written by men, therefore it has to be has to have fault to it. They won't come out and say something like that. They would just maybe pick one little thing from it and go, oh, you know, that virgin birth thing, that just goes against the laws of common sense and nature. It just can't be. And they may just pick one little thing and poke at it, and from that, a new compromise will occur, and therefore you've got a whole group of people going in a different direction with a whole new philosophy of God's word, and it corrupts it. That's what John is talking about here. We're going to have lots of false prophets forever. We're going to be out there forever. And I do believe that some of these false prophets don't intentionally want to lead astray people. Now, hear me out here. I do believe a lot of these false prophets, in their heart of hearts, they are probably so convinced that their ideas are good and accurate and sincere, and they are leading people to hell with their sincerity.
Yeah, but you can be sincerely
sincere.
wrong.
Exactly.
On
Good
the
way
well.
to say it, Jan.
Uh-huh.
You can be
Be
sincerely
sincere,
wrong.
whether you mean it or not, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then even have love in your heart.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's,
I get
and
emotional.
today, it's so much easier to get in them, look at the preachers that's on TV Sunday morning, and then on every day, you know. And if one of them comes up with, and which I've heard one or two, that what they're presenting as fact is very, very far to the left or whatever you want to call it.
Pleasing to the ear for most people. You know, just recently, Marty, was it showed you that photograph of that TV minister's estate from the air, Olstein's house. It looks like Buckingham Palace,
Oh, I don't know.
and
Well,
I don't know what to think about that.
I'll tell you, there was a surgeon in Little Rock, very, very good successful surgeon in Little Rock. It happened to be his brother. He stopped his surgery practice going to his group, so explain that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they have their own
He
staff
quit
surgeon.
surgery and went to work for his brother Joel.
Oh, yeah.
Staff surgeon.
Make more money.
Maybe. No, I don't think it had anything to do with that.
But have you ever listened to Joel Osteen? I
He has-
listened
he
to him
was-
one time just to see what he wants.
Uh-huh.
And he just tried to make you feel good.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
anything,
Preaches a happy
anything
See,
is
now,
fine.
that's my
happy
point.
service.
That's the beauty of false prophets, is that if they tickle you and make you feel like, you know, I've got it going
Right,
here.
do that. And he doesn't talk about Jesus much, does he?
No, he doesn't. And the masters love that because it makes
Exactly.
them
Psychology
It makes them feel
101.
good.
hey, you know.
Right. Feel good service. He does. I listened to a couple of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
he can get you going.
And
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah, he gets you going.
I listened to him one
He's a
time.
good speaker.
And I understand where he's coming from, because all of that will bring in lots of revenue, because people, once they feel good about themselves, they feel like, well, man, you make me feel good. Here's some money.
They think they're giving money to God,
Exactly.
Right.
but they're not giving money to him.
I've always had an issue in this area with military chapels.
Yeah.
I know, I don't know what to say, but on most military installations, there's chapels, base chapels. It's not really so much a definite faith. Some are, some are not. But more often than not, if you've ever been in a service like that, they rarely talk about salvation,
They don't
anything
talk
like
about
that. Of course,
Jesus.
that's left out. It's more like these sermons that you see on TV where it's a feel-good sermon. And I know the intent. The intent is to don't ask questions, don't challenge authority, go fight and give your life up. You know, I know, I understand that, but I'm afraid that has drifted over into the rest of the world, and it's so much easier to hear that as a human, because it makes me feel better about myself. If this guy is standing up there in a good-looking suit and a haircut and telling me, like, you know, God loves you just the way you are, and you don't have to change a thing, and the world is a great place to be in, all these wonderful things, and I'm feeling pretty good about being here.
Well, I hear a lot now, you know, I'll ask somebody what church do you go to? Well, I go to a non-denominational church.
That's a feel good church.
So that's where we get off that too.
Right.
Those are some of the largest institutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have to feel conviction.
But you know what?
Yeah.
They really have a denomination, but they have what they believe. And
Yeah.
that's what a denomination
Exactly.
is.
Bring them all in.
What you
Uh-huh.
believe.
Doesn't matter what you believe.
Then that next verse, verse 19.
Yes,
You got
ma'am.
there yet? How about how scripture can be misused? Many years ago, we were going to a church, and we've been there a long time. And we just sensed that we were being led in a very liberal direction, but time has proven to be true, unfortunately. And so we decided we better find us a different church with children and find a different church. And so we did, along with a lot of other things in the church we left. We just scattered off of the rock and different churches, depending on where we live, whatever. And so sometime after that, I heard someone say that one of the ladies who was, because I was in the 30s, I don't know, I was very young then, that one of the ladies, very elderly ladies, with beautiful white hair and all that sort of thing, you know, she asked the pastor why all these people were leaving. And what we were told that he told her came from this verse, verse 19. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us, but they went out, that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. Wow. And I just cried to use that scripture with that dear lady. I just was so sad.
Yeah.
To use the word God in that way. But how often do I see people in impression of the word God?
I've heard it said that someone asked a certain preacher that why didn't he preach salvation and sin and all that? He said that there's half the congregation. That's about right.
I never thought about that. That is so easy to turn that
Oh,
around.
yeah.
To take that contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just felt so proud of her. Whether or not she believed it or not.
Yeah. Because in that case, it was a good thing.
Oh, yeah, it was a good thing. Yeah.
To get out of there.
Yeah. I wept buckets of tears.
Yeah.
Well, I think Bernie Self summed it up many years ago. He said, "You come to church to worship God, not the church." Not me.
He was a good man.
And so, you know, I come here because I worship God. I don't like some of the things that go on. That's the truth.
Well, when John
You
said,
don't have to answer for them.
when John referred to it being the last hour, this is something that Dr. Mark talks about all the time, where God is timeless. So God doesn't have a timeline. He doesn't use a clock. He doesn't use anything that measures time. And so when you hear this, it is the last hour, that makes us, we can't help it. We try to attach a time frame on this, don't we? When is the last hour? Is it now? Well, I guess it could be in God's time. When is the last hour? It could be 1,000,000 years. It could be. It could be. So it doesn't matter when it is. We're just supposed to be ready for when it is, because it may be in your lifetime or it might not be. But I think if it had been written differently, if he had said children, instead of saying it is the last hour, what if he said something like in the year 2015? I don't know, or in the year 3000. See, if you put a date in there for us to understand, it's going to mess it all up, because now we're going to adjust to it and adjust our lives to it. So,
is there another translation besides the last time? Somehow I can't get the feeling he's not talking about a point in time, but a
He's talking to
context.
He said it's imminent.
Right, yeah, it
It's
can
going to
happen at
happen.
any time.
Well, I don't think we will actually perceive it. I think we'll be 1 minute and then we'll be somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
So the split second.
Twinkling of an eye.
You know, we could all be already there, don't
I think we know it.
well, you know, I wrote a little note here in my margin, because the author of this lesson was saying things like identifying this history in time, or the last hour, if you will. It says he's probably referring to the time between Christ's first and second coming, and will be characterized by what the coming of Antichrist or people who oppose God's kingdom. I wrote it here. Have you ever asked God to let this be the time right now? Would you end time right now so that we can put all this to an end?
Every day.
Let's do it now. You ever asked that?
I'm ready for the rapture.
Well, have you ever asked God in a silent prayer or anything like that? Would you end it all now? Could this be the day?
But you know what?
Is that wrong?
There are people that have already gone on that day after day ask God, why are you letting them go through this? Why don't you do it right now? The scripture
I'm just ready for the rapture. I'm ready for the rapture. It's going to be so cool.
Well, I'm ready, but I never have asked him that.
And for some reason in my Bible, I wrote that people were talking about this over 2,000 years.
Yeah.
But they were,
Yeah, the last
Yeah,
hour.
see, and they
That's
were,
2,000
and
years
are they
ago.
no different than us? They were probably thinking it's going to be in their lifetime.
Maybe that's what
Oh,
we
they
all
probably
Yeah.
they
did,
were
yeah.
one of the lions. And what have you.
I think every generation thinks it's their lifetime. Don't you?
Oh, God.
Yeah, and that's I know it's hard for us to comprehend no time.
But it's kind of a hope, too. It's a hope, too.
It is.
Because you miss out on death and you get to be in the rapture. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll be raptured anyway, even if you die, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah, missing out on that whole death thing.
I don't think it's, sometimes I used to think it was,
I wanna miss that.
it's wrong to think that I'm the generation in which Jesus is going to return. And I used to kind of like think that may not be the proper thing to think. Is that self-centeredness? I don't know what
Well,
to say.
because the Bible says, be ready and
Yeah,
I just
wait
thought
for
to
my
see the
return. You know?
yeah.
Be ready. Yeah.
Says, later in this part, it says, John was more concerned at this point to warn about the anti-Christian teachers of his time. The Antichrist to which John referred had once been affiliated with the believers. It says their presence in the church caused dissension, and they eventually removed themselves from the fellowship. That's how we get various religions, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where other religions come from. Dissension, they move away because either they didn't agree with something small, something big, and it was enough for them to lose faith or a concept, and that causes a compromise, and they say, I don't believe in that virgin birth thing. I just can't. So therefore, I'm going to talk against it. I'm going to research and say that's, scientifically impossible, on and on and on, and therefore you're going to eventually start a new belief, and people will follow you.
I think he's talking about that, but I also thinking about people that are part of the church, and then they get tired. They don't believe, and then they leave the church.
Yeah, I agree with that
think he's talking about both.
Yes, and I used to, like I mentioned the virgin birth. That's a biggie. But what if something so subtle as, let's just say, the type of baptism, immersion versus sprinkling? Is that a showstopper? That's one of our big ordinances. It's a big deal,
Well,
but to
yeah.
most people it is not.
Well, they didn't have enough water back then.
Well, in Jesus'
Had
day,
to go
it
forever.
says they take stuff out of the water.
Right.
So that's after the sprinkling is.
Well, where did that come from then?
Huh?
Where did the idea of just sprinkling come from?
From King James, when King James was the reason King James version was that, and he changed a lot of the things in the scriptures
Why did he do that?
because he was evil. He was living.
Just a
He
little bit
was
at a
married
time.
to his brother's wife. He was a bad person.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've kept you over time. Do any of you have children up in the nursery you need to go to?
Go on.
You have children in the nursery you need to go see.
Hey,
We're not in a hurry.
I don't know how to turn this thing off. Wait, here we go. Stop broadcast.